Yo, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy Dan, aka aDrive. I brought you guys a brand new video today. Today we're gonna be talking to some Pokemon Sword and Shield and a little bit about Grookey and Scorbunny, two of the 3 starter Pokemon in Pokemon Sword and Shield. And Sobble fans, have no fear, I'm gonna talk a little bit about Sobble too, but that won't be the focal point of this video. For those who don't know, Game Informer had the exclusive opportunity to sit down with Junichi Masuda and Shigeru Mori, 2 of the directors and the directors on Pokemon Sword and Shield, as well as the art director James Turner, to discuss a number of different things about the upcoming games Pokemon Sword and Shield. And they sat down and discussed the starter Pokemon in 3 separate interviews. Now, 2 of those interviews are already up, and I'm going to talk about those in this video. Sobble's interview is going to go up tomorrow, so I don't have any further information there, but I thought I'd bring it to you what we have so far, kind of discuss it a little bit, give my thoughts, and kind of break it all down. So there should be some pretty cool conversations here, and I want to know in the comments section below, what starter are you going with? Or are you like me and you just don't know, man? Are you Team Sobble, Team Grookey, Team Scorbunny, or do you need to see evolutions? I can't make up my mind, man, and I'm not even kidding. Hit that like button down below, guys. Subscribe if you guys are new as we close in on 500,000 aDrive Army members, which is insane. Thank you guys so much for all your support. Let's jump into the video. So the first thing we're gonna take a peek at here really quickly is the Ben Affleck leak, right? This leak has been circulating the internet for a pretty long time now, back in May, and one of the things that really highlighted the leak was that it talked about the starter evolutions. So we're gonna talk about that briefly, and then we're gonna jump into those various starters, specifically, as I mentioned, Grookey and Scorbunny. This says that Scorbunny is gonna have fighting moves, but it is a pure fighter. Now, a lot of people speculate that that line right there says it's a pure fighter. It meant to say pure fire. That is a big speculation there. Nevertheless, it becomes Raboot, but I don't remember the final evolution except that it looks like a fighter. It looks humanoid. So it's saying that Scorbunny has fighting moves, which we know has already been confirmed. It has double kick, but it's pure fighter. So what does that mean? Is it a fire type only? Does it have a secondary type? The jury is out on this one, man, but we have a lot of reason to believe that it is going to be humanoid and it is going to look like a fighter. That's what we know about Scorbunny. Sobble evolves into Sisile and then Inteleon, which is a chameleon with a spy theme. Now that has been kind of pretty much agreed upon across the Pokemon community, as the Affleck Leak has already nailed so many things correctly. It would be pretty crazy to really discount anything from the Affleck Leak at this point. So we can assume that Sobble is going to evolve into Inteleon, a chameleon with a spy theme. Then last but not least, Grookey is going to end up as a giant gorilla that beats a wood drum to attack. Now, there's a lot of reasons to kind of talk about Grookey being music themed, and that's going to be one of the parts of this video. The French name for Grookey is actually Oui Tempo. I don't know how to say it, but tempo is in the name, and that is a musical term. But let's take a little deeper dive here into kind of what we're looking at. So this is, let's actually take a look at the Grookey interview. So the Grookey interview, I'm gonna just kind of jump through different parts of it, but I'll put the link in the description if you guys want to check out the game, the full kind of interview. It's only 2 minutes for this one and 3 minutes the other one, so it's worth checking out, but I'll kind of summarize in this one. Basically, they sat down, they talked about Grookey, they couldn't spoil what its evolutions are at this point, and there's a big question mark, are they even going to show the evolutions at all before the game comes out? I think we'll get middle evolutions. I think they're going to keep the final ones to themselves, but basically the summary behind Grookey is a Pokemon whose demeanor makes people happy. It's really a mood maker. They go on to say that it's the opposite of Sobble, who's more depressed, and they actually went on and talked about various other monkey Pokemon and how they look different. Just like monkeys in the real world, there can be different Pokemon monkeys, and they all look different in some way. So they made it clear to point out the fact that while Grookey is a monkey, it's not gonna be the next Infernape. It's gonna have a very different look. And what better way to have a very different look than have a giant gorilla, right? We have an orangutan and oranguru. We have things like Pansage and the different kind of sages and semi-sages and seers and whatever else, right? So we have all those different monkeys, again, Infernape and things like that. But what we don't have is we don't have a giant gorilla, right? So that's something that I think kind of aligns with what they're saying here, and the fact that they said, hey, you know, you're gonna find differences in these monkey-themed Pokemon. They're not all gonna be the same. You know, and then they actually go on to say, it's funny, Amori goes on to say that people who like to dance or into parties are the kind of people that are gonna like Grookey. And what happens at dances and parties? music is played. Now they also go on to say about Grookey that it does have this little stick in its head, and it uses that stick and it likes to beat the stick to do different things. One of the things it can do is actually grow grass, which we saw from the initial trailer where Grookey was introduced in the first place, that Grookey's stick has magical powers and it can grow grass. It can kind of have some sort of a healing property. They talk about Grookey being happy and upbeat, and I think upbeat is a great term there. And again, they said people who like to dance, are into parties, they're gonna like Grookey. That was their big hint, and I think that this points another finger in the direction of a music-based evolution for Grookey and the Grookey evolution line. And it seems more and more likely that we're gonna get this big gorilla, Bongorilla, whatever it's gonna be called, that uses some sort of a stick that Grookey has, that's gonna evolve with it, and it's gonna beat this giant drum to attack, to create music, to do whatever it's gonna do. So I think grass rock as like kind of a pun of rock and roll. There's a lot of opportunities there for the Grookey evolution line. Very excited to see the direction it goes. I do think we are ultimately gonna get that big grass type gorilla, and I actually feel like it may end up being one of the better starters when all is said and done. Now, they did the interview that actually just came out legitimately from me recording this, I don't know, 30 minutes ago or so, and they talked about Scorbunny and the patches and things like that. They said that in Japanese designs, the patch over the nose expresses young, energetic, rambunctious kids. They said that a couple different things about Scorbunny. Someone who would choose Scorbunny would be a person that can keep up with it, that likes to run around a lot. A lot of theories around Scorbunny evolving into some sort of an athlete-based inspired Pokemon. The soccer player. Soccer, obviously, or football, obviously being very popular in the UK and across the world, really. And a lot of people have speculated that Scorbunny is ultimately going to become this soccer player. So very interesting that they would mention that. They talk a little bit about the silhouettes, things like that. There's James Turner, the art director, as I had mentioned. They show that there's a handful of different things. And what was funny is you could see that they actually did this little game where he said, which starters would you guys pick? And Omori grabs Grookey, and Masuda grabs Scorbunny, and then James Turner takes Sobble, the more depressed starter Pokemon. So some pretty interesting stuff that took place in this interview. Like I said, it's pretty short, it's pretty lighthearted, it's pretty like well-spirited. So definitely take a look at what the exclusive content Game Informer's doing. And if you don't want to take a look, then I'll summarize it here for you on the channel. As we got this starter Pokemon here, obviously Grookey, Scorbunny, and Sobble. And as I mentioned about Grookey, you can kind of see same thing. It's got the stick that has special effects. It has special powers after being exposed to the energy within Grookey's body. It can give energy to plants. I actually read a comment yesterday. It was funny that they could see it already in the anime. Grookey's gonna lose his stick, and it's gonna be like a big dramatic thing when Grookey loses his stick. And then Scorbunny, of course, always running around bursting with energy. I found it interesting to note that it's got this fire sac inside its chest, and when it gets its heart rate up and it's running around and doing all those different things, it actually gets the ability to kind of capture that fire sac and really use that fire to its advantage. So pretty interesting stuff. We talked about its legs and its running and things like that. And I gotta tell you, at first, if you said when the starters were first revealed, I would have ranked them Sobble, Grookey, Scorbunny, the top three, right? Sobble, Grookey, Scorbunny. Now I feel honestly like I really like Scorbunny's design. I really like Grookey's design, and I like Sobble's design, and I don't know which one I like the most. Let me take another look here. Again, I'll focus on Sobble when they kind of release that interview, but let's take a look at some different, if I type Grookey evolution into Google here, you can see a handful of different kind of fake art here. This is all obviously fake at this point. But a lot of people kind of going off that drummer theme, right? I mean, you've got these different kind of gorillas here. This one with drumsticks. This one with a bat, which is kind of cool, like cricket inspired. This guy beating a drum right there, beating a drum on his chest to make music. But some sort of kind of tie-in to music, I think, makes a lot of sense for the evolutionary line of Grookey. I definitely feel like it could very much so go that way. There's Donkey Kong, of course, beating the drums, which I thought was pretty interesting. So some pretty cool stuff. Otherwise, I mean, I could see it going like this kind of route too. But I definitely think we're gonna see it go that kind of drummer design. I think if I search like Bongorilla, I wonder what's gonna come up. If it's gonna give me, oh, there's my thumbnail, of course. Let me see if I can do Bongorilla Grookey evolution, because I know that was one that had gotten shown around. Yeah, this is one of the ones that I had seen a couple times. Again, same kind of idea where he uses these drums to kind of beat a stick. So very interesting stuff there. And then when we look at some Scorbunny evolutions, first of all, I wanted to address this because people have been asking all the time. This plushie, you'll see it on eBay, it is fake. I do not believe it's real. Scorbunny has so much potential, but it also has so much potential to be ruined in its final design. Without knowing its typing, if it's pure fire, if it's Fire Electric, Fire Fairy, Firefighting, we don't know. There's obviously a lot of possibilities for what could happen with Scorbunny, and this is actually probably my favorite artwork we've seen so far, and again, another one of my thumbnails popping up, but nevertheless, a lot of cool opportunities for Scorbunny, and we'll see what happens. Again, these are all just kind of fan ideas and things like that of what's going to happen with these starter Pokemon, but I thought it was pretty interesting to check out those Game Informer interviews. They don't shed an incredible amount of light in terms of what we're going to get out of these starters, but they definitely point a finger in the right direction, at least until in terms of what we might be getting. I definitely think that music-based evolution for Grookey is 1,000,000% happening, and I'm really curious to hear what they have to say about Sobble. If they say anything about Spy or like Undercover, anything like that, I think we got ourselves a real big hit on our hands, but time will tell, guys. Let me know your thoughts. What starter are you picking? Let me know your thoughts if you want to see the Sobble video tomorrow, and hopefully we'll get that Ponyta confirmation soon too. Thank you for checking out this video, guys. Be sure to hit that like button down below, subscribe if you guys are new, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.